Bold and the Beautiful. Does the House of Logan need to be redesigned after Steffy's power trip? Hi everyone, welcome back to Beautiful Today, my channel. Before we start the video, I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Kindly give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Steffy Forrester is having a long-lasting Logan tantrum on Bold and the Beautiful, and her father is reluctant to step in because his adult daughter appears to be completely out of control on the CBS. When his daughter stepped toward Hope Logan as she fired her, Ridge Forrester's only action was to reach out and reroute her. When is the elephant in the room going to be addressed? Brave and lovely, Steffy Forrester's ironic remarks go on. Steffy Forrester, played by Jacqueline Wood, has a lot of witty comebacks on Bold and the Beautiful. She has them prepared so that anybody entering the room can express their opinions to her regarding her stepsister's termination. She might gain a few extra minutes of opera time, but the fallout is ugly. Thus far, Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, have hinted at their next move with the appropriate words. After they had finished calming down in the bedroom, that is. The other staff members who are upset that Steffy fired Hope are soon highlighted in Bold and the Beautiful. Thus, a group of unhappy workers probably brews, and Forrester Creations soon finds itself in hot water. And the root of the issue is Steffy Forrester and what some fans perceive to be her recent excessive power outburst. Therefore, it appears that Steffy Forrester probably pays for her influence on Bold and the Beautiful. B. Steffy's strategy paid off, but at a high cost? Steffy appears to be planning more than just getting rid of the Logans from Forrester Creations. Her primary objective is most likely to separate Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, and Ridge Forrester, Thorsten Kaye. And it's working so far if that's the case. Today on Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy demonstrates that she has discovered multiple ways to act as a matchmaker. Although Rebecca Budig's character Taylor Hayes encourages her kid, it's likely that she has no idea what her daughter is thinking. Thus, Steffy gets one step closer to reuniting her parents. She is unaware that her activities could bring down the family business, though. It began with Carter Walton's dagger-eyed look at the Forrester Creation sign. "They can't get away with that," he vowed. This was his reaction after Steffy kicked Hope to the curb in the parking lot, causing her to collapse in his arms. Is every player lined up and furious in Bold and the Beautiful? Hope's line and Carter's vision mark the beginning of a new design firm on Bold and the Beautiful. When you combine Brooke's expertise with her well-known reputation in the fashion industry, a board begins to take shape. You could see how they could accomplish this if you add in Zendi Forrester's Delon Demet's design skills. Additionally, if they leave the mothership, they have a fantastic staff thanks to R.G. Forrester's Joshua Hoffman, Emerging Potential, and Katie Logan's Heather Tom, talent in the marketing department. Although a new business might start over, Eric Forrester might fix this issue before a new design firm ever appears on Bold and Beautiful. However, Hope stated that because Steffy is always fighting for the Logans, she probably couldn't work under her again. Therefore, the House of Logan may emerge from the ashes of Hope's dismissal, or Eric may restructure SC's operations. By putting Hope Logan on par with Steffy Forrester, Eric may make SC better. These two women would thereafter be the co-CEOs of the future. Naturally, if they don't learn to cooperate, he would have to tell them to go. However, as of right now on Bold and the Beautiful, the foundation for the House of Logan may begin to take shape as this week's CBS teasers were revealed. Explosive plots, complex family dynamics, and intense power struggles have long been hallmarks of the Bold and the Beautiful. The Logans, despite their undeniable influence, are frequently at conflict with their peers in the fashion industry, while the Forrester family is unquestionably the industry's leaders. As a prominent member in the Forrester Creations empire, Steffy Forrester has spent years securing her position in the worlds of high fashion and family. However, as Steffy continues to develop in her role, a big change takes place that could upset the status quo. It all begins with a bold power move that upends the Logan family's foundation. Steffy's ambition soars in this new plot line as she makes a planned choice that immediately pits her against the Logans. Especially Forrester Creations and the Logan heritage are at stake in this conflict, which also poses a threat to the tenuous harmony that has prevailed between the families. As Steffy's power trip results in the most dramatic sequence of events to date, tensions increase, relationships break down, and family loyalty is tested. Creating the scene. The recognizable Forrester Creations skyscraper is bustling with activity on a bright afternoon in Los Angeles. Steffy Forrester, CEO of Forrester Creations, exudes a new level of resolve at her office. Although the Forrester name has been a major factor in the company's success, it is evident that Steffy is not happy with the status quo alone. She desires more. Steffy has risen to the position of leadership via a string of calculated choices and individual triumphs. However, the temptation to exert control comes with power, and that's exactly what Steffy is aiming for. Steffy is in her office, studying the designs for the next season while leaning over a drawing board with her forehead wrinkled. Even though the piece is primarily about fashion, it also aims to establish her as Forrester Creations' unchallenged leader. And she has an idea that could alter everything when she looks over the most recent proposal. Why should the Logans always take precedence over me? Glancing over her shoulder toward the empty conference room across the hall, Steffy murmurs to herself. She is aware that the consequences of what she is about to do could be severe, but she has never shied away from a challenge. She must make a daring move that will make everyone, especially the Logans, take her seriously if she hopes to take over Forrester Creations as she deserves. The move of power. Steffy's choice to start again with the House of Logan is as planned as it is strategic. Steffy has seen Brooke Logan's impact inside the organization increase over time, particularly as a result of her friendship with Ridge Forrester. Brooke has always used fashion to reinforce her position within the Forrester family and to keep control. Ever the ambitious one, Steffy has started to question whether the Logans have been getting too much attention at the price of the Forrester legacy. At Forrester Creations, Brooke has always been a force to be reckoned with. She frequently uses her charm and strategic connections to establish herself in the family firm. Because of her collaboration with Steffy's brother, Liam Spencer, Hope, Brooke's daughter, has also been able to establish herself in the fashion industry. Steffy, however, feels that they are living in her shadow despite their success, and she is resolved to leave it behind for good. Steffy starts formulating a strategy to guarantee her control over the House of Logan as she observes the power dynamics change around her. Her concept? To establish a competing fashion brand that challenges the idea that the Logans should be at the forefront of Forrester Creations, in addition to competing with Hope for attention. Using her connections and sense of style is the secret to Steffy's strategy. She has a reputation for having a keen eye for innovative design, and she is well-versed in Forrester Creations' business operations, so she knows how to establish herself as the company's head. Her strategies are different this time, though. Steffy is adamant about making it known that she will no longer be disregarded. She will no longer share the limelight. Her creations will be audacious, inventive, and unquestionably hers. Her first move will be to make a bold proposition to the board of directors of Forrester. Steffy's new fashion line, Fierce by Steffy, will feature high-end, edgy designs that reflect a bolder, more contemporary vision for the business. The crucial component? Steffy is aware that the world's leading fashion houses will be drawn to its exclusive affluent clientele. This action won't be without repercussions, though. Steffy is aware that she will need to take on the Logans head-on in order to see this project through, particularly Brooke, who has always been regarded as the center of Forrester Creations, and Steffy intends to do just that. The Logan family's response. The Logan family quickly finds out about what's going on as Steffy's plan starts to take shape. At first, Brooke, the family's matriarch, is taken aback by Steffy's boldness. Although there have occasionally been conflicts between the families, this feels different since the Logans have always been intricately woven into the fabric of Forrester Creations. Steffy is laying the groundwork for a full-scale takeover, not merely attempting to force them out of the business. Brooke is not easily intimidated. She has established a career that Steffy might jeopardize all of her hard-earned accomplishments is enough to send her into a tailspin. There is a noticeable tension between Steffy and Brooke, and the stakes get more obvious as the word gets out. For Steffy, the goal is to demonstrate her ability to run the business as she sees fit. For Brooke, the goal is to preserve the Logan family's heritage and make sure that their contributions to Forrester are not forgotten. Hope is caught up in this competition as well. Hope has always had a complicated connection with Steffy because she is Brooke's daughter and a major figure in the company. Over the years, the two ladies have experienced a good deal of drama, especially in relation to their common past with Liam Spencer. The stakes are different this time, though. Hope is under pressure to live up to her family's legacy, and she feels betrayed by Steffy, whose new line threatens to eclipse her own designs and career. Steffy makes it plain to Brooke and hope that she will not back down as she moves forward with her bold ambitions. The Logan family reacts quickly and firmly. In an emotionally intense confrontation in the offices of Forrester Creations, Brooke confronts Steffy and insists that she change her mind. "Steffy, this isn't the way to do this," Brooke adds in a tense voice. "We have collaborated for many years. There is an alternative to pulling the rest of us down if you want to prove yourself." Steffy, however, is unmoved. "Brooke, I'm not trying to bring anyone down. All I'm doing is creating my own kingdom. It's time for me to come out of your shadow, and I will do just that. This business requires a leader who doesn't hesitate to take chances if it wants to succeed in the future." The conflict over control of Forrester Creations has officially begun with the drawing of the battle lines. Steffy's vicious quest for power now poses a threat to the House of Logan, threatening to tear it apart piece by piece. Family drama and the fallout. The Logan family is growing more and more apart as Steffy's schemes come to fruition. Ever the warrior, Brooke starts to mobilize the board of directors and other important individuals in the organization. She also addresses her girls, especially Hope, and exhorts her to speak up. Every aspect of the Forrester and Logan family's life, both emotionally and professionally, is impacted by the conflict between them. Hope starts to wonder where she really fits in because she is torn between Steffy's obvious talent and desire and her commitment to her mother. Once tense with antagonism for Liam, Hope and Steffy's friendship has evolved into a different type of battlefield. Although Hope feels deceived by Steffy's abrupt power grab, she also recognizes that Steffy's collection has the potential to completely transform the fashion business. Liam, who has always been the peacekeeper, is in a challenging situation in the meanwhile. He has always had a complicated relationship with both ladies, and now he has to deal with their broken partnerships. Liam's allegiance is put to the test in unexpected ways as Steffy and Hope compete for dominance. It's evident that Steffy's power trip has put not just the House of Logan on the drawing board, but also the future of the whole Forrester family at stake as the Royal Rumble-style confrontation inside the Forrester Creations headquarters intensifies. But the issue still stands: who will win, and how much will it cost each party? The major confrontation between Steffy and the Logans is set up in this first segment. More betrayals on a personal level, business-related strategies, family reconciliations, and the possibility of alliances that conflate the characters are just a few of the numerous levels that the plot might develop into. Please let me know if you want to focus on particular narrative points, or if you would like to Creations empire. Steffy Forrester has long been respected. Steffy is a formidable presence in the fashion and business worlds. Her unabashed confidence is frequently infused with her scathing humor, but lately her acerbic tongue has escalated to unprecedented levels, causing conflict among her own family as well as in the boardrooms of Forrester Creations. Steffy is now more powerful than ever as the current CEO of Forrester Creations, and it is evident. She no longer holds back from voicing her opinions or protecting herself from criticism. She has a strong bond with her father, Ridge, but her once close bond with the Logan family has started to erode, particularly as Steffy's sarcastic remarks have become more blatant and even hostile. Steffy is now a lady in complete power rather than merely the disobedient daughter or the driven rival. However, power also comes with responsibility, and Steffy is about to understand that her scathing comments could jeopardize the very family ties she has depended on. According to the adage, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The showdown between Forrester and Logan. The boardroom in Forrester was as tense as ever. Discussions over the future course of Forrester Creations were in progress, and the new spring collection had just been revealed. Steffy Forrester sat at the head of the table, scrutinizing the most recent drawings and forecasts with assurance. Ridge, her father, sat next to her and was pleased with his daughter's progress. Ridge's ex-wife, Brooke Logan, sat on the other side of the table, looking disapprovingly at Steffy every now and then. Although it had been evident for months that Steffy was becoming more at ease in her position as CEO, there was still a noticeable tension between the Logans and the Forresters. Brooke said, "Steffy," in a suave but subtly annoyed tone, "I think we can all agree that the spring collection designs are beautiful, but I'm concerned about the direction you're pushing us in. Are we losing sight of the classic style that has made Forrester Creations famous?" Steffy laughed softly without raising her eyes from the papers in front of her. "Brooke, you're always worried about timeless things. You've spent so much time in the past that I believe you've lost sight of what lies ahead." Steffy's tone was brimming with irony. There was silence in the room. A keen tension rose in the air as Brooke's eyes narrowed. "Pardon me," with a pout tugging at her lips, Brooke shot back. Steffy finally looked her in the eye and arched an eyebrow. "Perhaps it's time to let go of outdated designs that seem to be saving the business. Brooke, style changes. Try keeping up, please." Ridge interrupted Brooke just as she opened her mouth to respond. "Steffy, will you just keep it civil? This is not a personal attack. It is a business meeting." Steffy gave an eye roll. "Oh, I apologize, Ridge. I had no idea that providing constructive feedback was so divisive." But for Steffy, it was more than just a business encounter. It was now a battlefield. Additionally, she had become weary of being courteous to the family that had always dominated her life. Although she made scathing remarks about Brooke, Hope, her half-sister who was always attempting to reconcile the Forrester and Logan families, would be the one to suffer the most from Steffy's growing annoyance. The unwelcome presence of Hope. Hope Logan arrived at the Forrester Creations office later that day with the expectation of a friendly conversation with Steffy. Hope was in charge of many of the company's partnerships with the younger generation of fashion influencers as the head of Hope for the future. Despite their disagreements, Hope frequently had to mediate conflicts between the Logan and Forrester families. Today, however, felt different. "Steffy," Hope said with a tight smile, "I wanted to talk about the new spring collection marketing strategy. I believe that Hope for the future has a lot of potential for cross-promotion." Steffy interrupted her with a stern look. "You know, Hope, your little brand may be adorable for Instagram followers and social media, but we need something bigger for high-end fashion." Hope blinked, startled. "What do you mean?" Steffy joked, "Oh, you know, just that youthful approach you were so proud of. The whole flower child boho chick thing is brilliant for a boutique, but it doesn't work in the major leagues." Hope's cheeks turned red with outrage. Although she had always made an effort to ignore Steffi's jabs, there was something hurtful about the way she spoke. "Steffi, you don't have to belittle me. I'm attempting to assist." "Aid? Do you believe you are doing that?" Sarcasm shone in Steffi's eyes. "Look, Hope, I know you have the best of intentions, but your brand won't alter this company's course. Your designs won't even make it into the mainline collection. Perhaps it's time to reply, but nothing came out of her mouth. Despite their competition, she had always admired Steffi, but this was different. In addition to testing her professional limits, Steffi was threatening her job at Forrester Creations. Steffi went on, smirking as she leaned back in her chair. "I don't understand why you're fighting for a seat at the table when all you're really good at is trying to fit into a world that's never going to take you seriously." Hope's hand shook as she made an effort to remain calm. "Steffi, I don't need your advice on how to manage my life or my company. I won't allow you to undermine the hard work I've put into everything I've achieved. You can't even maintain a basic line under the spotlight," Steffi sneered. "In just a few months as CDO, I've accomplished more than you ever could with your meager Hope for the Future campaign. Perhaps it's time to acknowledge that the future isn't what you had imagined." Hope's face went white, and her jaw tightened as Steffi's words struck their mark. She arose suddenly, attempting to remain calm. "Steffi, I'm done here. Your point is clear." Steffi wasn't finished, though. "Oh, don't be concerned. You'll probably go back to Mommy Brooke and complain about how mean I am." Hope glared at her sister. "Steffi, you don't understand. To feel better about yourself, you can't keep putting everyone else down." Steffi gave a shrug. "Perhaps I can. Perhaps it's the only way to accomplish tasks in this area." The repercussions. Steffi reviewed the designs for the next collection while sitting by herself in her office later that night. Her thoughts were racing, not only about work, but also about the true extent of her scathing comments. Had she overreached herself? Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of the door opening. Ridge was the one. "Are you all right?" Ridge's voice was softer than normal as he asked. Steffi looked up into his eyes. "What are you saying? I'm all right, of course. I'm completing tasks." Across from her, Ridge sat down, his face unreadable. "Steffi, I understand. You have an idea. However, you're alienating people. You're alienating your family. Is it worthwhile?" Steffi's gaze hardened as she crossed her arms. "I'm not trying to push people away. All I'm saying is the truth. People dislike being told the truth. Not from someone like me in particular." "You don't need to be so severe," Ridge said softly. "You've always been strong, but cruelty and strength are not the same thing." Steffi hesitated, her father's remarks weighing more heavily on her than she had anticipated. She had always thought that no one would take her seriously if she didn't cut through the bullshit. However, it's possible that she was losing sight of something significant. In conclusion, Steffi became aware that her remarks had repercussions as she looked out the window at the city lights glittering below. She had alienated those closest to her in her quest for supremacy and power. Now, though, what could she do? Steffi's witty humor had carried her this far, but when her family started to fall apart, she had to ask herself if the cost of success was too great. This is only the beginning of the story. Steffi may keep making sarcastic remarks, but the real question is still how long she can stay at the top without losing sight of what really counts. At Forrester Creations, the power war might be just getting started. This is when your desired conflict-heavy plot begins. Developing the repercussions of Steffi's actions, her encounters with more individuals, and the wider effects on her personal and professional life would be the Forrester Creations. Steffi Forrester sat behind her sleek mahogany desk, her fingers lightly tracing the edge of the papers before her. Even though the newest collection was about to be released in a few days, she was thinking about something much more important than fashion. Steffi has been subtly establishing herself as Forrester Creations' undisputed head for months. Steffi had always had the idea, but her father, Ridge Forrester, had always been the head of the family business. Even though she had repeatedly shown her worth, it had never been sufficient to propel her to the top. Her mother, Taylor, who was always the voice of reason, her brother Thomas, who was passionate about design, and of course the Logans, who were always there in Forrester's world, were the ones that stood in her way. Now, however, Steffy had a strategy that would guarantee her leadership position and enable her to manage Forrester Creations as she had always known it ought to be. Steffy was adamant, even though she knew it wouldn't be simple, and that sacrifices would need to be made along the way. She wasn't going to allow anyone get in her way because she had her sights set on the goal. Her initial strategy had been modest. She had gained a little more power in each meeting and greater influence over important business decisions. Her second move had been well planned. She had made sure to portray herself as the more progressive, contemporary leader while subtly undercutting her father's power. Although it wasn't simple, it had been successful. Because Ridge was preoccupied with his own problems, Steffy's recommendations started to gather traction. However, removing Brooke Logan from the picture had been the most important aspect of her strategy. The time had finally arrived after she had been waiting for it. Steffy was now in the ideal position to initiate contact with Brooke, who had grown increasingly irritated with her audacious choices. Section 2. The Cost of Authority. Steffy was by herself in the office the night before the spring collections debut, gazing at her desk's shiny surface. Steffy had insisted on staying late to supervise the last preparations, while Ridge had left early, perhaps to have supper with Brooke. Except for the occasional hum of the lights, the office was silent. Even though Steffy had always been a workaholic, something felt different tonight. There was a peculiar, unnerving feeling in place of the excitement that typically rushed through her veins during these moments. She had controlled the situation and played her cards flawlessly, but even though she was about to succeed, she couldn't get rid of the feeling that it had cost her something. She was distracted from her thoughts when her phone buzzed on the desk. Her mother, Taylor, had left a message. "Steffy, remember what's most important, even if I know you're working hard. Don't allow your ambition get the better of you. I've saw it occur previously." At the message, Steffy scowled. Taylor had consistently been the voice of caution, wanting Steffy to succeed while being true to her morals. Steffy was aware that she had gone too far, but she hadn't admitted it yet. Ignoring the voice in her brain, she put down the phone. Self-doubt was not an option. The big day was tomorrow. She had to live up to the moment she had worked so hard to achieve. Section IVI. The dismantling. There was a lot of energy on the morning of the spring collection unveiling. Steffy's idea for Forrester Creations was ready to take center stage as the models were prepared and the set was finished. Everything appeared to be going well when the show started. The crowd was enthralled, the atmosphere was brimming with excitement, and the creations were breathtaking. Steffy had the impression that everything had finally come together. What she set out to do, she had accomplished. However, the exhilaration did not last long. Steffy's focus moved to the front row, where Ridge was seated next to Brooke during the lecture. They had strained faces. Brooke was staring at Steffy, a look Steffy had seen 1,000,000 times. It was the expression of someone who had been wronged, and was holding out for the ideal opportunity to retaliate. Steffy's mind were diverted as the show went on. She was unable to concentrate on the designs, the collection's popularity, or Forrester Creations' future. The looming fallout was all she could think about. The audience erupted in cheers on the last walk, but Steffy didn't take it all in. Ridge and Brooke were having a heated discussion when she hurried backstage. A beat skipped her and whispered, "Steffy," in a hurried voice. "We must speak." Steffy felt a knot in her stomach. The weight of the discourse was already bearing down on her. With icy eyes, Brooke rose to her feet. "You are truly amazing, Steffy. You have been acting in a completely dishonest manner." Steffy's eyebrows went up. "Brooke, what are you talking about?" "Oh," Brooke yelled, "don't pretend to be innocent. I am aware of your behind-the-scenes activities. To get what you desire, you've been attempting to control everyone, and now take a look at your actions." Ridge's eyes were disappointed as he glanced at Steffy. "I agree with Brooke, which I never thought I'd say. You've gone too far. Steffy, you're my daughter, but this isn't how we operate at Forrester Creations." Steffy's thoughts whirled. Although she was aware that there would be a cost, she hadn't anticipated it to be so severe. She briefly experienced the pain of betrayal. She had successfully taken over Forrester Creations, but her relationship with her family suffered as a result of the scheme. Trying not to lose her cool, Steffy remarked, "You're both overreacting. I've taken the required actions to keep this business afloat. We may no longer be in agreement if you are unable to perceive that." Ridge gave a headshake. "Steffy, it's not about business. It has to do with honesty. It has to do with family." She was surprised by how painful the words were. "Relatives? Are you giving me a family lecture?" Steffy was at her breaking point. "You've lost sight of what's important because you've been so preoccupied with Brooke and the past. Both I and the company's future have been forgotten by you." Brooke's expression tensed. "You're only considering yourself, Steffy, and for that reason, this is quite risky." Their remarks were like a ton of bricks hitting Steffy. Once brimming with excitement, the space suddenly felt stuffy and frigid. Section IV. The repercussions. For Steffy, the days that followed were a roller coaster of feelings. Brooke's disdain was evident, and Ridge had distanced himself from her. Steffy couldn't help but feel quite alone because the Forrester family was broken up. For the first time, Steffy became aware of how far her quest for power had driven her and the people she cared about. Although she had prevailed in the struggle for dominance at Forrester Creations, she had forfeited her family ties, which was far more valuable. Once more, her phone buzzed. It was Taylor's message this time. "I hope you can see what's going on, Steffy. You've made too many sacrifices. I simply want you to know that, no matter what, you have my support." With her mother's remarks weighing heavily on her mind, Steffy gazed at the message. She had accomplished all of her goals, but at what price? In her quest for achievement, she had compromised her morals, her family, and her principles. Although her strategy had succeeded, Steffy now had to confront the consequences of her actions. Steffy was aware that her success had come at a high cost and that she would be dealing with the fallout for some time to come. Conclusion: ambition comes at a cost. Steffy Forrester has always taken great satisfaction in her drive and ambition. She had battled for her position as the company's leader and a member of the Forrester family. Nevertheless, she couldn't help but question whether it was all worthwhile as she sat in the silence of her office, surrounded by the observable success she had worked so hard to attain. Her strategy had been successful, but it had cost her. Although Steffy was now in charge, she had lost something much more significant: her relationship with her family. She now had to tackle the difficult task of repairing what she had damaged. Forrester Creations' future was assured, but the question still stood: was the cost justified? This serves as the foundation for a 2,000-word story, but it can be developed further. You can examine how Steffy works to mend her relationship with her family, develop her internal conflict, and demonstrate her efforts to strike a balance between connection and power. Throughout the narrative, the emotional toll and repercussions of her actions will be revealed.